Hello, welcome to today's lesson on how to answer the WASSCE question on close passage questions, otherwise known as the vocabulary building section of the WASSCE questions. I am Rumeso Adeyemo with the brand name English with RMG, and this video is proudly sponsored by IOTA Virtual Learning Platform. In this video, you are going to learn the tips and strategies that you need to pick the correct answer for your close passage question, regardless of how similar or enticing the wrong answers could appear, so that you can get your marks in full. So, are you ready? Let's get right into it. But before we go into the questions, what is a close passage question and why is it essential to your overall assessment for your WASSCE exam? I asked this question because knowing your what and why will help you prepare your mind to approach the questions in the best manner so that you can get your marks in full. A close passage is usually the section 6 of your paper 2 WAEC question, where you have a passage with gaps and options of words to fill in the gaps. This section is very crucial to your overall assessment because it is set to test your knowledge of contextual meanings over literal meanings of words or phrases. So what do I mean by literal meaning and contextual meaning? So literal meaning refers to the dictionary or ordinary meanings of words or phrases, while contextual meaning refers to the implied or inferential meaning of words, which is highly dependent on the context or the situation or backgrounds surrounding the usage of the word or phrase. For example, let's consider the word cloud. If I just say cloud without giving you any context, the first thing that will come to your mind is a visible mass of water droplets in the sky. You immediately think about the sky, and that is also the dictionary meaning of the word cloud. So now let's consider a few contexts. If I say the cloud covered the sun, I'm still referring to the cloud in the sky. Do you understand? Because the context in which I have used it is the sky. So if I continue to say I store my photos in the cloud, then you immediately know that I'm not talking about the sky, but I'm talking about a digital storage space, which is also called cloud. Then if I move on to say something like, his thoughts were overshadowed by a cloud of worry. This is now a different thing entirely because I would have been using the word figuratively. That is, I'll be using the evidence of cloud to communicate a particular meaning or to express a particular meaning that I have in mind. So it is still cloud in these three contexts, but it has different meaning because I have used it in different contexts. Do you now understand what I mean by contextual meaning over literal meaning? Literal meaning is the ordinary dictionary meaning, while contextual meaning is the situational meaning. So, preparing for your close passage section is not just about learning the meaning of words. It is more about understanding how to manipulate different meanings derivable with a word in different contexts. I hope you understand my explanation. So let's quickly consider a close passage paragraph from your WASSCE past questions for us to exemplify this with real past question. So here is the paragraph. So we have vehicles are supposed to be tested annually before certificates are issued. Vehicle owners are issued with these certificates even where their vehicles have not been properly dashed. So from reading this paragraph, you can tell that this context is a context of vehicle. So let's look at the options. We have A, scrutinized, B, appraised, C, considered, D, inspected. I purposely chose this paragraph because I want to believe that many of us are familiar with this context and we probably even know the answer automatically. But let's analyze why our answer is our answer. Do you understand? So now let's consider the meaning of each of the options. Scrutinize means to examine something with great care. Appraise means to estimate the worth of something. Consider means to think about seriously, while inspect means to examine critically or carefully. Do you understand? So now let's look at option 2 and 3, appraise and consider. I would say that they are automatically out of our possible option because to estimate the worth of something or to think about something seriously does not mean that you want to check that thing to be sure that it is perfectly fine to get a license, which is the context that we have. Do you understand? So we are left with to examine, which is scrutinize and inspect. But with the context, the answer here is inspected. So the sentence will read, vehicles owner are issued with these certificates even when their vehicles have not been properly inspected. However, why is our answer not scrutinized? Why is our answer inspected? Because from the meanings that we learned, scrutinize and inspect means to check critically or to examine with great care. They both mean the same thing in the dictionary. But why can't we use scrutinize? Why do we say that our answer is inspected? So I want to explain the difference. In context, scrutinize is often used with more deeper details. When we are talking about examination of some details, then we say that we want to scrutinize, like an investigation. You can say the investigation was scrutinized, financial report, a research, or an interview. But when we use inspect, we use it more in the context of physical examination, such as a factory. So you can say that the factory was inspected, the restaurant was inspected, the vehicles were inspected, the buildings were inspected. Do you understand? So contextual usage sometimes usually differ from just the ordinary or the dictionary meanings of words. I want you to get this part carefully. I want you to get it clearly so that you can understand how to answer your closed passage questions correctly without falling for the wrong answers or the similar answers to the correct answer. Do you understand? Please, if you have any question, you can put it in the comments. And if you've not understood anything, you can just pause this video for a while or you move it back a little so that you can understand the concept. So with the explanations and examples provided, I want to believe that you already understood what answering a closed passage is all about. It is more about understanding the context. Yes, you also need to know the meaning of the words, but it is more about understanding the context so that you don't fall for the wrong answer. And also, I need you to understand that you can be presented with any context at all. So the passage could be about sports, it could be about construction, it could be about agriculture, it could be about media, it could be about press, it could be about medicine, it could be about relationship, etc. So the passage could be brought out from any point of life, from any perspective of life. So you really need to understand that, once you read the passage, you get the context, then you immerse yourself into that context so that you can understand how best to use words in that context. So now that I've explained this to you, let's consider a closed passage on building from the WASSCE past question together. So here is a closed passage from the WASSCE 2007 past question. So before even going into answering your questions, the first thing you need to do is read the passage with the gaps so that you can get what the passage is really about, so that you understand the context better. So let's read this together. It is interesting to watch a modern dash spring up and get complete in a matter of months. A few months ago, a building company brought some dash to the virgin forest next to our school. So from this short paragraph or these two sentences, we can tell that this passage is about building. Do you understand? So now let's try to answer the question 88, which is the first one. It is interesting to watch a modern dash spring up and get complete in a matter of months. So in the context of building, what is going to spring up here? You see, construction, building, erection, or fabrication. We can see that there is similarity between these four options. So why are we going to choose one over the other? If we say construction, anything can actually be constructed. A car can be constructed. Anything can be erected. A fence can be erected. Anything can as well be fabricated. Do you understand? So if we say construction, erection, fabrication, we are not being specific. And since we've read the passage, we've understood that, this passage is about building, so we also have to be what? Specific in line with the context. So that is why our answer is not going to be A, C, or D, but our answer is going to be what? B, building. So the sentence is going to read, it is interesting to watch a modern building spring up and get complete in a matter of months. Do you understand? I hope you are getting it. So let's move on to the next question, which is question 89, which is the second question. So we continue by reading the sentence. A few months ago, a building company brought some dash to the virgin forest next to our school. So what was brought? Before we can know what was brought, then we need to know what that thing was used for so that we can pick the correct answer. So sometimes before you can even pick your answer, you need to read further. Sometimes you need to go back to read the previous sentence for you to get the context clearer. Do you understand? So now we need to read further. So the trees were dash, the ground was cleared and dash. So that means that we want to look out for what was used to remove the trees from the virgin forest. We've been told that it's a virgin forest. So, and now the trees were what? Removed in some type of way. So now we know that what was brought was used to remove the trees. So is it going to be A, trailers that was used, or B, bulldozers, or C, tractors, or D, machines? So I would say two are how translated out, which are trailers and machines. Trailers are used to transport heavy goods from one place to the other, so it can be trailers. Machines is a more general term. We need something more specific. So we are left with bulldozers and tractors. So which of these two is going to be our answer? Now, this is an image of a bulldozer. So if you have walked past maybe a place where a construction is ongoing, you would know that this is a bulldozer. You must have seen that before. Now, this is a tractor, and it is often used for agriculture. It's often used for agriculture. Do you understand? So that is why we cannot say that our answer is tractors, but our answer will be what? From the explanation I have made, our answer will be B, bulldozers. So the sentence will read: a few months ago, a building company brought some bulldozers to the virgin forest next to our school. Do you understand? I hope you are getting the logic of how I'm picking the correct answer and how I'm eliminating the wrong answers. So let's move on to the next question, which is question 90. I've pointed that arrow to the sentence I'm reading so that you don't get confused that, oh, where am I reading now? So you can see where the arrow is. That is where we are. So the trees were dash. The ground was cleared and dash. So from the context that we've read earlier, the trees were removed. So that action of removing the trees with bulldozers, how are you going to describe it? Are you going to say the trees were felled, the trees were pulled, the trees were cut, or the trees were broken? If you say fell, that means maybe it just fall on its own naturally. So our answer is going to be what? Pulled, because that action of removing the trees from the ground, it is what? Pulling. So you can also say cut or broken, because all of those does not describe the action of using a bulldozer to actually pull the trees from the ground. Do you understand? So the sentence is going to read: the trees were pulled, the ground was cleared, and dash. Do you understand? So let's continue to question 91. The arrow is where we are right now. So the ground was cleared and dash. So after pulling the trees and clearing the ground, what is the next thing? Is it going to be A, leveled, B, paved, C, demolished, D, destroyed? First, demolished and destroyed are out because you cannot destroy or demolish the ground on which you want to erect a building. Do you understand? So that's why those two are out. So now we are left with leveled and paved. Paved means to pave a ground means to cover it with concrete. You must have some pavement in your house, maybe in your compound, or you visited some places where you would see a paved compound. Do you understand? So you don't need to pave a ground where you want to erect a building. All you need to do to it is get it leveled so that you can start your building. So that is why our answer is what? A, leveled. So the sentence will read: the ground was cleared and leveled, and the workers brought out dash. Do you understand? So the trees were pulled, the ground was cleared, and leveled. Do you understand? So now let's move on to question 92. The ground was cleared and leveled, and the workers brought out dash with which they measured and marked. Do you understand? So what is it that will be used to measure and mark the ground? We are still in the context of what is going to be done to the ground before erecting the building itself. So is it going to be apparatus, items, machinery, or equipment that will be used to measure and mark the ground? Do you understand? So if we consider apparatus is a more generalized term Doctors also have their own apparatus. Do you understand? So items is even more generalized. We can have kitchen items, home items. The same thing for machinery. But equipment is more kind of specific here, because if you say they brought out various equipment that they needed, do you understand? With which they measured and marked the dash. So that is why our answer will not be A, B, or C. So, but our answer will be what? D, equipment. So the sentence will read, and the workers brought out various equipment with which they measured and marked the dash. Do you understand? So now let's continue. So what is it that is going to be marked? Is it A, plan, B, trenches, C, ground, D, space? So this is what I'm still talking about, immersing yourself into the context. Before erecting a building, what is it that you need to mark? Every building has a plan. Before they can start building on it, there has to be a plan for that building. Do you understand? So what is going to be marked in this context is a plan for the building that is going to be erected. So it can't be trenches. If you say ground, yes, they can mark the ground, but it is not suitable for this context. If you also say space, yes, but it's not suitable. What is actually suitable is what? Marked a plan for the building. That is why our answer is what? Option A. That's why our answer is not B, C, or D, but our answer is what? Option A. So the sentence we read, with which they measured and marked the plan. Do you understand? So let's move on to question 94. So we have, then the dash was dog. So you still need to continue to think about the flow of thought in this context. So after marking the plan, what is the next thing that will be done on the ground on which you want to erect a building? So what is going to be dug? Is it a base, a foundation, a pavement, a gutter? So you must have heard people who are into building or constructing any building said, oh, we want to dig the foundation of the sides, we want to dig the foundation. So the next thing to be dug is the what? Foundation. You can't say it is a base. I explained what a pavement was. Well, sorry, what a pavement is earlier. And you cannot also say it is a gutter, because the context does not tell us that they want to build a gutter. Do you understand? So that's why our answer is what? Foundation. Our answer is foundation because we understand that the next thing they want to build from the context is what? The foundation. Not gutter, not base, and not pavement. So that's why our answer is B, foundation. So they said, then the foundation was dug. Do you understand? So it is crucial to always pay attention to the context. It is crucial because it is the context that will guide you to what is the word that best fits into that space. So let's move on to question 95, where we have, and the dash were brought from somewhere else. So let's look at the option. A, balls, B, lintels, C, fences, D, blocks. So here we need to understand the meaning of each. Boreholes. So we bore holes when we need to access the water under the ground. Lintels are done when the building has been erected to a particular level, and fences are done around the house. So what is needed to build a foundation here is blocks. The only thing that is needed from these options to build the foundation from the context that we've been reading till we get to this place, we can tell that what is needed from all of these options to build the foundation is what? Blocks. So that's our answer is D, blocks. Not bowl, not linters, not fences. So the sentence will read, then the foundation was dug and the blocks were brought from somewhere else. I hope you understand all that I've been explaining. Please, if you have any question, just put it in the comment section and I will be there to answer your question. If you've not gotten anything correctly, maybe you need to clarify more, you can rewind this video to listen more carefully. Do you understand? So that you can get it correctly. So we still have our questions from 96 to 100, but I wouldn't want this video to be too long so that it doesn't bore you. So I'm going to create another continuation video, which I am going to link in the description below to finish answering these questions. Kindly click on the link to access the continuation on how I'm going to answer the 96 to 100 question. So again, I am Romeso Adeyemo with the brand name English with RMG. Thank you for joining this lesson. I really appreciate your time. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and please share. Share with your friends, let them learn as well, especially those that are writing WAEC, NECO, or GC. Thank you.